Vietnam among safe economy during COVID-19 fallout, according to The Economist. VNFIS opposes Chinese fishing bans in its sea. Export of lychee to Japan may not be possible. Now, 11 COVID-19 patients recovered and were discharged from the National Tropical Diseases Hospital on May 5th, bringing the country's total cured cases to 232. They're all Vietnamese, including 2 relapsed patients. These people will continue to be quarantined and monitored for the next 14 days. Vietnam is now hospitalizing 39 COVID-19 patients and no new cases of virus infection were found in the past 18 days. The number of confirmed cases stands at 271 with no fatalities. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc will have a dialogue with businesses at a conference on May 9th to help remove difficulties, boost production and restart the economy, information announced by the government office. The online conference will start from 8 a.m. on May 9th in Hanoi and will be broadcasted live on Vietnam television. The Prime Minister assigned the Ministry of Planning and Investment to coordinate with the Government Office, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and relevant agencies in receiving recommendations of businesses before and during the conference. These recommendations will be reported to the Prime Minister before May 16th and will be consolidated in the government's action plan. Dialogue with businesses is held annually, based on which many important decisions have been made in order to improve the business and investment environment in the country. Vietnam has been listed as the 12th strongest economy according to The Economist's report on the financial strength of the 66 emerging economies in the wake of the COVID-19 fallout. The ranking examines the vulnerability of selected economies across 4 potential sources of threats, including public debt, foreign debt, and cost of borrowing and reserve cover. Vietnam is in the safe group thanks to stable and strong financial indicators. Accordingly, more than 30 emerging economies are facing great pressure, the worst being Lebanon and Venezuela. Botswana tops the list of the safe economies, followed by Taiwan and the Republic of Korea. The Economist said that most of the economies were strong enough to overcome the pandemic. The 30 weakest economies was relatively small, accounting for only 11% of the total GDP of the 66 economies. It said that the COVID-19 hurts emerging economies by locking down their populations, damaging their export earnings, and deterring foreign capital. The Vietnam Fisheries Society released a document on May 4th opposing China's issuance of regulations banning fishing in the sea. It also urged relevant agencies in Vietnam to take strong measures to end China's latest actions in the sea and suggested increasing law enforcement to assist and protect Vietnamese fishermen operating in Vietnam's waters.
China announced a fishing moratorium from the 1st of May to the 16th of August in the East Sea, including Hoàng Sa Paracel Archipelago, under Vietnam's sovereignty, according to the VNFIS. The regulation violates Vietnam's sovereignty over Hoàng Sa and its legal rights and interests, hamper fishing activities by Vietnamese fishermen, and break international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Therefore, the VNFIS strongly protests these extremely unreasonable actions by China, stressing that the regulations have no legal value for waters under Vietnam's sovereignty, and Vietnamese fishermen have the right to fish in the waters belonging to Vietnam's sovereignty. VNFIS will actively instruct local fisheries associations and societies to partner with relevant agencies in communication work to help fishermen understand and observe legal regulations while at sea. It will also call on fishermen to keep calm, continue fishing, step up production, and resolutely practice their legitimate rights, thus contributing to protecting national sovereignty of Vietnam's sea and islands.
16 auctions of government bonds were held at the Hanoi Stock Exchange in April, mobilizing over 3 trillion Vietnam đồng, equivalent to more than $128 million. This sale is down 68% compared to March.
Interest rates on successfully bid bonds issued by the State Treasury rose by between 0.01 and 0.48% in April compared to March, with 10-year and 15-year bonds experiencing the strongest rise of 0.32%. The success ratio of the auction was only 18.6%. On the secondary G-bond market, trading volumes averaged more than 7 billion Vietnamese đồng, a month-on-month decline of 49%. Transacted volumes through repurchasing agreements or repos accounted for 54.4% of the total trading volume. Total listed G-bonds were valued at nearly 1.11 trillion Vietnamese đồng as of April 28.
Ho Chi Minh City's consumer price index in April fell 1.58% from the previous month and 1.04% compared to December 2019, according to the city's statistics office.
The prices of 4 of the 11 groups of goods and services used to calculate the CPI saw month-on-month declines, with the strongest fall of 15.52% recorded in transport as a result of lower travel demand during the social distancing period. The prices of housing, electricity and water, food and building material reduced by 1.22%, entertainment and travel services by 0.26%, while that of garment, headgear and footwear decreased by 0.11%. Meanwhile, 4 groups saw price increases, including food and catering services 0.65%, equipment and home appliances 0.18%, and telecommunication services 0.01%.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade said it has received a note from the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries of Japan announcing that it is impossible to send experts to Vietnam to inspect and recognize the disinfection treatment system of fresh lychee due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the first export of Vietnamese lychee to Japan may not be possible in this season.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade has sent a written request to the Vietnamese ambassador to Japan to work with MAFF to persuade the Japanese side to consider other solutions instead of sending experts to Vietnam to inspect the sterilization facilities. The proposed plan is to temporarily authorize independent inspection organizations in Vietnam to carry out the inspection in the short term or coordinate with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to carry out inspection measures from afar. The Ministry of Industry and Trade also asked localities to grasp the situation and find solutions for consumption. At present, local authorities said that they have developed scenarios to cope with the situations, such as proactively expanding new markets and boosting domestic consumption.
Now, according to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, in the coming days, many places in the country will experience extremely hot weather. Highest might reach over 40 degrees.
From the 5th to the 7th of May, hot weather will Spain to the north and central region with a high temperature of about 35 to 38 degrees Celsius. The provinces of the south, central highlands and south central coast have the highest temperature of 35 to 37 degrees. And the heat is most severe in Hanoi area with temperature might reach over 40 degrees. This is the first heat wave in the season and it is advised that we should stay indoor, drink more water and take a good care of our health.